2024 Watermans half. This one's coming up this Saturday. So let's get into it because it's coming up very, very quickly. First things first, 1.2 mile swim in the harbor. You're going to do a 2-loop swim. The bike is a rolling bike. And then the run, you're going to have a half marathon that is pretty much the flattest half marathon you will find in many, many places. If you haven't already, make sure you head over to the landing page for this site. A lot of really, really good information. They break it down super simple. Going to a second location before we bounce back is the weather. Right now we have rain scheduled for the pretty much for the morning. It could change, but that is pretty much what you're going to find in the days leading up to it and on race day. On Sunday, it is partly cloudy with no chance of rain, like 24%. So that could slide up to Saturday. If that's the case, it's happy days. But if not, that will complicate some things slightly for us. Going back to our athlete guide here. Scrolling down, this is typically what each race looks like for the half. So Friday, you have the potential to do packet pickup 5 to 7 with a pre-race meeting at the race site at 6. Saturday is moving day and race day all at the same time. Transition opens at 6:30. 6:30 to 7:30 is packet pickup. They do body marking, so you do have to do that as well. And then you will also pick up your timing chip, which is going to be worn on the left ankle, as is customary. 7:30 is the pre-race meeting, national anthem. 7:40, swimmers walk to the swim start. You do have to walk to it. It is, they say, an eighth of a mile walk to the swim start from the transition. And at 7:45, the transition area closes, and 7:50, the long course athletes line up for a time trial water start. You'll jump off the dock. It's fun, but it is a time trial start. 8 a.m. long course race start. So 8 a.m. is that long course race start, and that long course start is the same place where it is finishing. So you do start where you finish. So it's 2 complete loops. That's an easier way to say that. And then the rest is the Olympic, which we don't need to talk about. This is the race site. You can click their directions, and that's the sprint. This is the race layout, the race site layout. This is the parking area right here. This is likely where you are going to be parked. This is the site where transition is. There's a pool right there as well, which you will not be able to use. And then the long course athletes, what we are talking about, are going to make their way down the harbor right over here for that swim start finish area right here. If you scroll all the way down, I believe it might not be here. It might be on the, yep, it's going to be located on the course maps, which we'll dive into in a second. You can see it a little bit better, but I just wanted to show the parking area for you. Again, athlete pickup, make sure you bring all of your stuff, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. All right, so these are the course maps. You can see what we just talked about, the exit on that harbor, that walkway right there. That is where you're going to go. This is where you're going to start. It is a counterclockwise loop. You're going to do that 2 times, and then you're going to hop out and then run down the same dock that you just walked out on, and then you're going to go to the transition area where you hop on your bike. So course specifics for this swim. First things first, this dock that we have right here, not the smoothest of surfaces. There might be a couple of boards popping up here and there. Make sure you keep an eye out for that when you are going and lining up for your time trial start. Okay, don't be doing nothing when you're out there. Always be doing something. Speaking of doing something, see where the water is going. Is it swirling this way or is it swirling this way? You should be identifying where it is happening on race morning. Another useful area is this place right here. That's usually where the sand barge happens, and you will be able to stand somewhere at this point, you usually are able to stand there. So if you do cross that, and you get surprised and your hands touch sand, don't freak out. Totally normal, totally natural. Pretty much happens every single year. It moves, so it might be in a different location by the time the race happens. All right, as we start out over here, it is a time trial start. You're going to be kind of bunched up in here because it's a shallow water over here, or it undulates shallow. You're going to have a tougher time escaping from other people. What that means is stronger swimmers are going to start to have an internal freak out a little bit, and they're going to be putting the pedal to the metal. Make sure you are riding their coattails and saying, absolutely, thank you, thank you, thank you. Turning off over here, this is kind of where the swim starts to get a little more real. This is going to be where you're going to start to separate out on course here. You are likely going to find your swim group at some point during this stretch of swim here. Watch out for a couple of posts that are here, and I believe there's a nasty one right there. But watch out for the posts from the old docks. There's only 3 or 4 that you really have to worry about. Other than that, you should be good. Turning over here, if there are jellyfish or anything in there, this is likely where you're going to start to see masses of them. You're going to see a couple over here, but this is likely going to be where they start to pop up. Nothing you can really do about it on race day. If it is super, super bad, they will cancel the swim, but if they don't cancel it, you're probably going to be all right. So, one less thing to think about. Taking a left over here to finish our second loop. This is a stretch of water where if it is sunny, and we just went over the forecast, it could be, could not be, but if it is sunny, this is going to be where the sun affects you the most. This is going to be where it is very, very tough and challenging to find that straight line over there. If it's cloudy, that's going to be the exact opposite. When you do start out and you are swimming in this section on this way back in, what I would do is I would actually sight off of the Wiggly Man, the finish chute right over there. It's not going to be super lined up. You're going to veer off a little bit to it, but in this first initial stretch right here, it's not really going to matter in the whole grand scheme of things. Another thing to note is you should be sticking with your pack up until this point in time. And once you hit this section, then you can kind of make your own, kind of hedge your bets a little bit. But what I would do if you have a group and you're working well together and the pace is good, what I would do is actually stick with them for another leg over here before you really put the pedal to the metal here. And even up until this point, the last halfway stretch up to that dock, then things are going to cool off a little bit. You're going to start thinking about your jog from the swim finish to transition, and then the bike and what you're going to be doing in transition in between. And that's going to be happening right here at this point. And that's your swim pretty much in a nutshell. The bike has taken a couple of different forms. The form that is currently up right now is the traditional route. They had a different one up, but it's back to what it normally is. All right, this is a 2-loop course over here, and it is going to look like this in real time. So this is about 900 feet, maybe a little less, probably 820 to 900, somewhere in there of elevation. When we talk about weather here, weather is projected to go in this direction early on and then switch to this direction. So what that means on the map is starting out, you're going to have a headwind, and then it's going to switch a little bit throughout the day. So as it gets longer and longer out there on the bike, it's going to switch for you. And this is an athlete who's going to be targeted to come in at about 3 hours anyways. So if you are going to be coming a little bit faster, you might have a little bit more of a tailwind coming back in as opposed to what is about to happen in that cross tailwind for athletes who take a little bit longer than the projected 3 hours to finish this course. Switching over to our power plan, a couple of really unique things for this course. I'm going to take speed away because we'll talk about that in a second. But as we roll over the power right here, which is the bars, and the elevation is the blue, as we roll over this, I want you to watch the biker in the bottom right. As you can see, when we start out, we are going to have a cross headwind, and that's going to do you no favors early on. And then when we start to turn right up here at the top, we are going to turn into that headwind, and it's going to come on our opposite shoulder there. And when we are going to turn again directly into a headwind, and if you're keeping track, if we get all the way up to about this point, that's about 14 miles of headwind or head crosswind. Okay. That's going to be huge later on in a second. Taking a right-hand turn, you're going to go up a steep hill. Things are going to change a little bit, and you are going to have another crosswind from the left-hand side of the bike. Maybe, if we're lucky, a slight tailwind, but I would project more of a head crosswind here, which is one of the worst ones. Then we're going to make another right-hand turn up here, soft right-hand turn again, and we are going to be greeted by the best tailwind in triathlon. We're going to make a right-hand turn, tailwind up until this point here where we do make a right turn again, and we are going to go back into the wind again for that second loop. And it's going to pretty much repeat again over the course of the second loop. Now, you eagle-eyed individuals will know or will notice that the speed is going to look like this on each loop. So you're going to start out battling, and then it's going to be great afterwards, okay? So for the first little bit of our route, this section right here, athletes typically, what you'll see if you've ever been a spectator here or raced here, what athletes typically do is they get out onto that first 0.01 mile of bike, and you will see athletes directly in their aero position. They're putting the power out, and they're trying to eke out every aerodynamic advantage possible here. When we scroll into the bike section here, this stretch of road, if we go over the marker here, it's super difficult to get to because it comes so fast. This is 0.4 miles, all right? 0.4 miles, 0.3 miles, you're going to experience the first turn. I wouldn't be overly focused on that aero positioning and putting less aero drag in here. You know, I would start to get your legs together, get nutrition, get everything set up, and then I would be worried about the aero position and all of that good stuff. These two turns over here, this first left-hand turn and then this second right-hand turn, excuse me, let's back up. This first left turn, all right, and it's totally fine, totally normal, but you will start to build speed up here, and then this right-hand turn is a little bit sharper than you want it to be, and it does surprise a couple of people. If an accident does happen, this is going to be where it happens over here. Make sure you're ready to turn right here. Then this left-hand turn, it's pretty cool. They'll block off traffic. You'll go through here. Cars will be waiting. They'll be holding the road up for you. It's really, really cool experience. But all of that comes at 0.6, and then it's you in the open road. It's you in the open road. So then you can get concerned about the aero position and all that good stuff. Now, this section over here isn't super accurate, right? I actually think that this is a little bit more accurate when we look at the elevation. This blue right here, this is a better representation of what you're going to get, but for argument's sake, let's just talk about it for a second. This area is another area where athletes really, really overdo it, that 0.6 all the way up to 2.4, and then they start to slow down at 3.5 miles, right, into their more realistic pace. This is because it's a headwind and you'll be able to see people really far ahead of you. You'll be able to say, okay, I'm going to get that person. I'm going to catch that person. And you can, right? Because it's only 3 miles into the race. So you will have plenty of energy. You will have the capability to do so. But I want you to ask yourself, should I catch that person during this section? And if you've watched any of my other videos, I don't normally do this for the first 3 miles, but this happens every single year where athletes totally throw away their race, and it happens in the first 3 miles of this race course. You have a load more miles here, so if we keep going over here, this section where the terrain just continuously increases up until 14.6, whatever you want. This is going to be a headwind. It's going to be a battle. Aero is going to be very important over here. But on the other side of the coin, do not lock yourself into that aero position. Yes, you want to be there. Yes, you want to totally maximize your time there, but don't be afraid to get up out of that aero position just to kind of change that position a little bit. Making that right-hand turn, this is a lot of people's favorite part of the course once they get past this hill. The sharp right-hand turn, you're going to go up a steep hill, and then it's kind of secluded for a second, and then it opens up. It's not a whole lot going back there, so it's just the racers back here and, you know, the draft police. But this is a very, very fan favorite area of race. It's a little bit more undulating, a little more up and down. Not a lot, because remember, there's less than 1,000 feet of gain here. So yeah, this is the first opportunity where the terrain changes for you on a continuous basis, and you can really, really change up your race there. Now, again, your speed should be getting faster, even though we are going to have a little more hills, have a little bit more of that challenge, right? But because you make these two right-hand turns over here, you're going to be thrown down the road here and really, really pushed, at least traditionally, at least it's projected right now, with a tailwind. You'll be able to absolutely fly, and it will be a super, super fun time. Okay, just be careful that you don't have too much fun out there. Because that also happens as well. And again, another big trap here is that you trap yourself in that arrow position and you refuse to get out of it. Be very, very careful. It's okay to get out of the arrow position a little bit here. If you do get out of that arrow position when you do have that massive tailwind, you're going to lose probably 4 or 5, 10 seconds here. And again, same with that 0.6 miles into the race, 3.2 miles. Is it worth it? If you're a front runner, yeah, it might be worth it. But I would challenge you to get out of that arrow position just a little bit here. You want to kind of preserve those legs and preserve that upper body for your run. Second loop is going to be pretty much a carbon copy. Only difference is you are going to be taking that right-hand turn, and the tailwind is going to be gracing your presence up until about mile 30 here. At this point, you're going to make that right-hand turn, headwind again, rinse and repeat. Watch out for some of the other bikers, the slower bikers that are on their second loop if you're a super speedy person. If you are a slower person, again, watch out for those faster riders. They are going to be coming really, really fast. Make sure you're staying to the right a little bit. Make sure everybody's communicating because it gets a little busy out there. Now, once we finish that second loop, and the terrain is really throwing us down out here, and we continue on past that right-hand turn for the only time, right, towards the finish. This is a flatter section of road over here, and it's going to be a really, really fun area until it's not, right? The wind does get kind of obstructed out here, so you are going to start to have to put out your realistic race power out here, and because of that, your overall speed will drop, all right? When it does drop, don't freak out, okay? It is what it is. Let it drop a little bit. Just ride your race, and that's the bike. Watch out for the last little bit here in the neighborhoods, and that is the bike. Moving over to our power profile here. Again, we've referenced this a couple times now, but this is the power that this athlete is going to be putting out. You can see for the first couple of miles, 191, 191, and that's going to just pick up a little bit. It's going to get a little bit up and down through this section right through here, and then it flattens out a little bit up to that right-hand turn, that tight turn at 200, and then it's going to back down a little bit to 180s back through here. And then it's going to drop down a little bit. That's because you do have a little bit of a downhill, and then it's going to slowly start returning to those numbers that we talked about because the tailwind is going away, and then it's going to pick up, get a little rocky, and then it's going to calm down a little bit. Couple of undulations here, but for the most part, it's way lower, 177 versus the 190 that we were talking about earlier. Time analysis on this course here. So power. If you wanted to increase your power output by 5%, this athlete would save about 3.5, 320 over the course of this race. Put it into perspective, they were going to average about a 185, and then the adjusted is a 194, so about 9 watts higher. It's going to net you 3 minutes and 20 seconds-ish. Now, if you wanted to take a little bit of drag, make you a little bit faster, you're going to save 33 seconds out on this course. If you wanted to improve that rolling resistance a bit, you're going to save about 6 seconds for every major improvement that you have out there over just the standard time trial bike. Weight is an interesting one. If you dropped your weight down a little bit here, you are going to save about 7 seconds over the course of the race. Moving over to the next part of our race. This is going to look a little bit funky, but this is our run course provided to us. First part over here, this is our start and finish area. We do a quick out and back before we start the main circuit. You're only going to do this out and back section once. On a little race profile here. This is what it's going to look like out there before you come back, and then you're going to hit the neighborhood 3 times, and that's going to look like this. Another section here that is very, very critical here is this section right here. You are going to be doing this on each loop. You are going to go all the way out, do the turnaround, and then you're going to go all the way back in before continuing on the main loop there. And again, it's a 3-loop thing, so if we keep looking on our out and back, we do it once, we do it twice, and then we do it for a 3rd time. And when we finish, that is going to happen right by the transition area right here, right? Technically right there. This is it's pretty flat. I've got about 23 feet of elevation gain. And something that we didn't talk about is the swim. These are the wetsuit temperatures. This is the Watermans one. So for 2016, the temperatures are 70, 72, 70, 75, 70, 71, 68, and 67. So projecting a wetsuit swim. Looking over on the race provided little course here, we do have a gain of about 116 feet over the course of this race. It's a little bit up, it's a little bit down. The majority of that is going to happen on this road right through here and a little bit through the neighborhoods, but most of it is going to happen right through here. This road that it's going out on this out and back and a little bit up to this little sharp corner here, it's pretty flat. It's a good time though if it's super hot. Some of the residents might have the sprinklers going. It's a good little vibe back through here. Not a whole lot going on besides this, so most people are pretty friendly when the athletes are coming through. Now, when we do go and dive in a little bit deeper here, you could see that it's pretty open here. So you're going to be able to feel the wind, the weather, the rain, whatever is happening. And again, remember the wind is going to be going this way. So when you start out on our little route here, once you get onto the main drag, it's going to feel great. It's going to be a little bit of a tailwind. It's going to be, it's not totally secluded. You're going to feel a little bit of it, but you might not notice because it is that tailwind. Going back on our turnaround here, it's going to become a little more evident, but because we have these trees kind of blocking it through here, again, you're not going to feel the full effect of things, but you are going to feel that all along this road here. Pretty much the entire time, actually. And then once you go into the back section here where the neighborhoods are, again, there's a little bit more trees back through here, so it is going to be a little bit more broken up. But again, there's really nowhere to hide out here on race day. If it is raining, if it is sunny, you're going to totally feel that. In my mind, the worst kind of weather transitions is if it starts out raining and then switches to sun. That was always the thing that I hated the most. It's when I got blisters. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the rain, if it does happen, it's going to happen early in the morning, and as the days get closer, we'll have a better picture of it. Aid stations are going to be happening a ton out here. I think it's every mile to mile and a half on this course, so really no reason to not fuel well, any of that, so it's all kind of on you. When you are completing this, you are going to be able to see athletes ahead of you on course. That can play some mental games, especially when you get onto that 2nd and 3rd loop out there. Biggest takeaway for this course is pretty much just to run your race out here. If you're successful in that and you do what you are realistically capable of, you're going to set yourself up for race day success. All right, so that's our 2024 breakdown of 70.3 Watermans. If you have any questions, you just want to dish about it, please reach out to us. If you are interested in any coaching services for this race or for 2025, please reach out to us. Contact info is listed below in the description. And of course, make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And good luck to everyone racing in 2024 Watermans. Good luck, everyone.